This is my Singer Model 237 from Vermont. I've put it in the treadle, and so far the supports are holding. They've had about an hour or two to dry with the wood glue on there, so they're holding. And it's really funny that sometimes machines prefer to be either a treadle machine or an electric, and the 237s were sold with the ability to do either. So I just figured since I'm having issues with it, I'd put it in the treadle and see how it runs. I think I have figured out the bobbin winder issue. I had to take the lid off. In case you've never oiled your machine, that's what it looks like inside a 237. And you are supposed to take the lid off and oil certain areas that are marked in the manual. I had said the bobbin winder tire was fine, and yet just now when I went to treadle it and wind a bobbin, when I engaged the hand wheel, it popped the bobbin up. So I figured that's odd. I'll take the top off and see what's going on. So as I turn the hand wheel, you can see that it starts to work and then it hits a bald spot on the bobbin winder tire, which is here. Now it could be a slick area on the actual hand wheel, because what this does is hit the hand wheel. See there, I'm moving the hand wheel, and it's just that the bobbin winder tire sits horizontally, and when you move it like that, it's such a simple bobbin winder, that's why it's annoying when it doesn't work right. And now it's actually skipping. When I had the top on, it was, when I engaged the hand wheel, it would pop up a little bit. So I believe the bobbin winder problem will be alleviated when I get a new rubber tire for the bobbin winder. So other than that, let me take that off of there, and I'll put that over there. And I just won't use this bobbin winder until I get a new tire. So I'll put the top back on, and you have to make sure that the faceplate right here lines up with the top, and then tighten the screws. There's one here, and the third one goes right here. But before I tighten that up, let me just show you how this sews in the treadle, because this one has a slightly easier action in the treadle compared to the one from Michigan. And this is with the same spring coil belt. Everything else is the same. You know, they're both model 237s. But there's less of like a 0 point. I'm moving the pedal, and the whole action seems a little easier. You have to tighten the clutch wheel. It seems faster than the other one. I don't have any thread in it right now. So I may end up leaving the 237 from Vermont in the treadle, getting a new bobbin winder tire. I took the light off, so now the switch on the light is not a problem. And the only issue would be the play in the needle bar, which I don't think is really a problem. I didn't see anything that looked broken. So I'll be using this way for a little while, and once I get, I mean, that's such a simple thing, the bobbin winder tire. And I had looked at it, and I thought it was fine. And it's, like I said, it's like a bald spot on the tire, even though the needle is engaged. But there's a flat area on the tire. And the spindle just doesn't turn. So that's the first thing I'll have to do, is get a new tire for that. I thought I had to wait until I bought a bobbin winder tire, but it turns out I had one. Part number I think is 15287. So what I did was I took a little screwdriver and I pried it off of there. This could be my fault. When I took the old one off of there, it's not all that bad. I got oil on it when I oiled the machine. It's all oily. So obviously when I was oiling the machine, I have an oil can that was my dad's that is a squirt gun kind of oil can, and I don't like it as well as the other one, but I was using that oil can when I oiled this machine and I got oil on it. So now I took the bobbin winder tire off. I'm gonna leave the old one off. I'm not even sure it's in bad condition. I'll have to look at it. But here's the new one with no oil on it. But before I put it on there, I am going to run the hand wheel with holding a rag here and clean off the inside of the hand wheel. So you don't want to you want to disengage the clutch wheel so that you're only running the hand wheel and not the needle, and you don't want to get your fingers caught in anything over there. But I'm just holding a rag there as I work the treadle and clean off the hand wheel. Look at that. Much cleaner. So now to put the new bobbin winder tire on, I'm not sure if I can just unscrew this and do it more easily by taking that off. I would imagine it would just be taking it off and putting it back on again. But if I can't do that, I'm just going to put this under here and using a screwdriver pop it back on again. What you don't want to happen is that you drop it in there, because then you'll have to fish it out. I'm going to go ahead and take it off of there if I can. Sometimes there are screws that loosen items, but you can't actually remove the screw. This looks like it's coming out. I don't think this machine or the other 237 have been touched by anybody in a long time. When I took the motor off the other 237, I think it's the first time the motor's ever been off of there since the factory, because there was a little piece of paper in between the bolt and the machine. I don't want to lose that screw, so let me put the camera down, but you can see the screw that I'm loosening to get the bobbin winder off. I did go wash my hands because I had picked up oil on them, and there is the bobbin winder off the machine, and the screw doesn't really easily come out of there, so it shouldn't be something that you lose the screw. And this will make it easier to pop a new bobbin winder tire onto the bobbin winder. Just like that. Simple. I love Singer machines. So now, let me just get it started, but I'm going to put it back on there. So now it's just a matter of tightening that screw up again. Which I think I have to do that right-handed. It looks tight, but I don't think it is. I think it has to go down further. Now it should be the type of screw that you can't over tighten. Whoops. See what I mean? because the bobbin winder itself has to be able to move back and forth. So I still have play in the bobbin winder. Now let's see if putting a new tire on there improves. Now let me put the lid back on and try to wind a bobbin. Okay, I did a few turns to get that thread, the upper thread started. You can see I'm just leaving that as a tail because part of the problem was the bobbin was lifting up before, like that, when I was holding on. It's doing the same thing, it still pops up. The hand wheel is still popping it up somehow. So more work to be done, but at least there's a new bobbin winder tire on there now. Now here's one more thing that could be affecting this before I stop fiddling with this. The bobbins I've been trying to wind are brand new class 15, supposedly Singer bobbins. They're very lightweight aluminum. And I'm wondering if the slot that they have right there that sits on the bobbin winder is slightly wider than a vintage bobbin. This is a vintage class 15 bobbin, and let's see if it makes a difference. Now I already have blue thread on there, and I'm going to wind green on, which I never do, but and I dropped the thread. But I think it's actually going to work. I think the difference is the bobbins. Let me set it up. Okay, I just did it by hand, like this, without a problem. And I had to do it until the green thread coming out of the top was caught, and it covered the ending blue thread. So now I have the green thread on the bobbin winder with a new bobbin winder tire. Clutch wheel is disengaged, needle is disengaged, and this is a vintage bobbin. And I now don't have a bobbin problem. So some machines, I've run into that before, where some machines prefer vintage bobbins. And I just bought 50 brand new, supposedly Singer bobbins, and yet they're lighter. You can feel the difference between how heavy they are between the vintage one, which just hit the floor, and the new ones. They're much thinner and they're much lighter. So I'm trying not to get the dog in the video the whole time. She's watching. She's watching. Of course it's going to prove me wrong. A minute ago it would not wind like that. But anyway, I had no problem at all with the vintage bobbin, and I've been fiddling with a new bobbin for an hour or more. And the new bobbin does that. Pops up like that, where the vintage bobbin, once it sat down on the bobbin winder, it didn't move. So a new bobbin winder tire and vintage bobbins, and I think I won't have a problem with this bobbin winder now. I'm a stickler for detail, so now that's a new bobbin, and I'm winding it by hand, and I've got a long tail coming out of the top of it. And right now it's sitting there without a problem. If I go to move my hand with the tail of thread, it pops right up. The newer bobbins are lighter in weight than the vintage bobbins. So now I got it started. Maybe the new bobbins just need a little bit of extra care in starting. Now that's not winding very well. Get it back on the tension thing again. I don't want to go too far because I'm going to have to pull that off of there, because at the beginning it didn't wind well. It had come out of the tension disc. So I think that's it. If you see how that moves so easily, and as soon as, I mean, it pops right off of there, and the vintage bobbin doesn't do that. So with the newer bobbins, I'll take extra care so that I don't touch it or move it when I'm winding a bobbin. And with the vintage bobbins, I don't think I'll have a problem with it.